everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to talk about the new movie, The Fall Guy. If you end up enjoying this video, please consider liking and subscribing. That way I don't have to fall 40 stories and break my back. The synopsis is as follows. After leaving the business 1 year earlier, battle-scarred stuntman Colt Seavers springs back into action when the star of a big studio movie suddenly disappears. As the mystery surrounding the missing actor deepens, Colt soon finds himself ensnared in a sinister plot that pushes him to the edge of a fall more dangerous than any stunt. So without further ado, let's get into the 6 things that make a movie great. 1. The plot. This movie opens with Colt and Jody working on a film set together. They're clearly in love, have a good relationship going, when all of a sudden Colt suffers a terrible accident falling during a stunt. The film flashes forward about a year later. Colt and Jody's relationship has dissolved, but then Colt is asked to come back and work on a film that Jody is directing. The lead star of this film goes missing. Colt is asked to find him, and then finds himself in the middle of a big problem involving crime, betrayal, and murder, all while trying to win the heart back of his beloved sweetheart, Jody. To be fair, there's a good plot here, I just don't think the movie found it. Because the way it came across to me was extremely convoluted and all over the place. Colt is trying to win the heart back of Jody by being a stuntman in her film, and the whole romance and tension that's going on between them is funny and one of the better driving forces of this movie. But it's a subplot while the main plot is Colt trying to find the lead actor of this film. It almost feels like this movie would have been a better rom-com with a little adventure in it, rather than kind of a cheesy action movie with romance sprinkled throughout. Because even with the bouncing all over the place and the random twists and turns that happened, to me this movie was convoluted and boring, and I honestly was more interested in the movie that Jody was making than I was in the actual movie that we were watching. I get that this movie is trying to be a tribute to stunt people everywhere, and I can fully appreciate that, but I think that they overcomplicated the plot of this movie and it ended up not being very good. So for me, plot gets a 50-50. 2 is family friendliness. The Fall Guy is rated PG-13. There's a mild bit of profanity, a decent amount of action and violence and stunts, and a couple moments of crude or sensual dialogue. I don't think they went overboard on anything in this movie, so use your discretion, but for me, family friendliness gets a 50-50. 3 is acting and script. Obviously, Emily Blunt and Ryan Gosling are the best performances in this movie. To me, Emily Blunt can do no wrong. I love her as an actress. And I think Ryan Gosling did the best he could with the script he was given. All of the other acting performances in this movie I thought were super cheesy and bad, which leads me to the script. I had heard that there have been movies where the script has been written by AI, and I didn't believe it until I watched this movie. In my humble opinion, which you may or may not respect, I did not think this movie was funny. I laughed 3 times in this movie, and I think only 1 of them was because of the script. 2 were physical comedy. And as much as I hate to say it, the rest of the theater agreed with me. Nobody was laughing. One dude literally was snoring behind me. And that's due to the fact that the script of this movie is random brain rot. There are a bunch of lines that are completely unfunny, some that don't make sense. There's just constant actors talking over the top of one another as if that's supposed to be funny. There's a couple monologues in this movie that are absolutely terrible. The script of this movie is so bad that I literally wanted to throw up. And that really sucks because it's enough to tank a movie, and it absolutely did for me in this film. The only chemistry between actors in this movie was between Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt, but there wasn't enough moments between them in this movie. So unfortunately for me, acting and script get a huge thumbs down. 4 is character development. Whatever character development there could have been with Colt is very much cheapened by the script of this movie. He could have a nice character arc, and the journey that he goes on could have been good, but that needs to be brought forth with moments of good dialogue and opportunity in situations between him and Jody, and there weren't enough of those in this movie. No other characters in this movie are developed whatsoever, and because of the absolute mush that is the script of this movie, you don't care about any of these characters at all. So for me, character development gets thumbs down. 5 is visuals and CGI. I think there are a few moments of CGI in this movie, but they're in the making of the movie that's in this movie. As a movie that is a tribute to stunt people everywhere, I love getting to see the actual stunts that happened in this movie. They show quite a few of them in the end credit sequence, which I thought was really cool. The action in this movie itself is mildly entertaining. It's nothing to write home about. I really appreciate stunt people and their dedication to the craft, and they did a really good job in this movie. So for me, Visuals and CGI get a thumbs up. And 6 is rewatchability. The Fall Guy is 2 hours and 5 minutes long, and because of the god-awful script, the convoluted plot, and really just the poor delivery of everything, this movie felt obnoxiously long. Look, I get that there's a lot of people that are really high on this movie. I'm just not one of them. I really wanted to let loose and enjoy this film and laugh a lot, and I just didn't. And based on the reactions that I heard, at least in my theater, I wasn't the only one. But unfortunately, I will never watch it again. So for me, rewatchability gets a thumbs down. With all these areas considered, I have to give The Fall Guy a 3.5 out of 10. The charisma between Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt is undeniable and at times charming. And even though the moments between them were the best, they were few and far between in this movie. The rest of this movie was an absolute mess of terrible acting, a convoluted and distracted plot, and what was, in my opinion, one of the worst scripts that I've heard in a long time. So with all that in mind, even though I really didn't enjoy this movie, I know there's a lot of people that did. Just maybe, if you keep your expectations low, you might enjoy going to see this movie in theaters, but not with a recommendation from me. Thank you so much for watching. If you've seen The Fall Guy, please let me know what you thought about it in the comments below. As always, I appreciate your love and support, and I'll catch you guys and gals in the next one.